Hey, on today's show, we find out what's in the box. Hey, my name's Richard Cleveland. Welcome to the show. This is The First Layer. We do this show 3 times a week. Monday and Friday, we do our live streams, Coffee with Rich, our First Layer live stream. And on today, we are looking and finding out what's inside this box. Now, I've already cut it open, but I haven't looked inside. So let's find out what's in it. So inside the box, we have a lot of foam packing and a plastic bag. Oh, let's pull that piece of foam off. I think I know what this is. Let's see if I can get it out of the box. It is like Christmas. Let's see if it'll... Oh, look at that. Oh. Whew. Well, did you see those 2 arms? I have a helper today. So, this is, are you ready? The Photon from Anycubic. This is the user manual. Very nice little user manual, by the way. Let's just go to the top down. Let's see if we can have a quick peek at this user manual. So this tells us everything that's inside. We got the Photon 3D printer, platform, some resin, memory stick, gloves, masks, all kinds of good stuff, and some technical specs. We'll go over those in a little bit, talking about the menu, how to get things set up. Let's go ahead and find out. That's actually a really nice little menu. I like that. Okay, nice little book there. So, all right, let's get this plastic off here, and here we have. Oh, this is some of the film that we need. So there's an extra film in here. They used to have it, from what I understood, there was an extra piece in the back of the book, but there isn't anymore. It's actually in this little cardboard. So that's good. We have some resin. This is green. Usual suspect, our power cord. We have a 4 gigabyte USB drive and a nice little torque wrench or hexagonal wrench. Put that down. In this bag, we have some spare screws. Let's just open this up, shall we? Let's go back to the top down. We have a little spatula. Again, some more hex and flathead, and we have a mask. We have some rubber gloves so you don't get the resin on you. That looks like, that's the knob for the front of the machine. And then we've got some additional screws in there. So we're just going to set this stuff aside. I just don't want to lose any screws. We have our power brick as well. So that's everything that's in the top. I don't see anything else. So let's pull off and reveal. Ooh, that's kind of sexy. So there we go. There is the printer. We're going to pull it off the bottom here. There we go. We'll just double check, see if there's anything in there. Nothing in there that we need. Okay. So this is the DLP Photon printer. Now, what is a DLP printer? This is a digital light projection printer. A little bit different than an SLA printer, which uses a laser. Similar in the way that they build a model out of resin. Both of them are resin printers. But this one uses digital light, and you need UV light to cure your models before you go into any other type of post-processing. So let's get all this off, and then we will open it up and see what we got inside of this as well. So let's open that up. Oh, look at that. We have more foam. Lots of foam. So in here we have our plate. And let me just go to the upper camera here. This is textured a little bit. Like, that's not completely flat. It's got a little bit of a texture. I don't know how well the camera's picking that up, but I got to tell you, that is actually kind of cool. And it's anodized. So it's got this really nice sort of aqua anodized look to it. And how do we get this guy out of here? There's got to be a way. There's got to be a way. I don't want to wreck anything. There we go. There we go. Got to pull this out. Ugh. Oh, look at that. Here we have a bunch of funnels. Now this is for your resin. These types of funnels have a very fine screen on them. Go back to the top here. It's got a very fine screen, so when you're pouring your mixture back into your bottle, any leftover bits don't go and mix in with your resin, which is a darn good thing. So what do we got here? We have, take off that, and we'll take off this. This is the most satisfying part, taking off all this stuff here. It's fun. I have a peanut gallery too today. All right, so let's get rid of that stuff. We're going to make sure that that doesn't get mucked up. Now, taking a look at the printer really quickly, it's fairly small. It's fairly light. It's not that heavy, actually. We look around the side here. So taking a quick look at the side, we've got a handle over here. Taking a look at the back side, this is where you plug into. It's got some ventilation back there. On this side is where all the business happens. So we've got a power switch and we have our USB stick where you plug that in, and on the front we have a touch screen. So very simple, very easy. Let's plug in the USB cable or USB thumb drive and find out what we have. All right, so we've loaded the USB stick into the computer, and here's what we get on there. We get, actually, let me go up one more here so you guys can see. So on the removable disc, in this case, it's a 4 gig USB stick. We have file English, and then of course we have a Chinese file. What we want, because we're English, we speak English, we are going to go to the English file folder. And here you can see there's photon slicing software. So it comes with its own software. We're going to have a look at that. This, I'm assuming this photon file is our G code. And then it has the user manual, which is exactly the same user manual that we saw just a few moments ago. So let's go into the photon slicing software, and we're going to install, in my case, the 64-bit, because we're using a 64-bit computer here. So we'll just double click that. Yes, of course we want to install it. English. It's important that you guys get to see all this stuff. So now we're installing. This won't take long to install the software. It actually will go pretty quickly. There we go, we're finished. So we are going to run the photon slicer. Back that off a little bit. No, go on forward. There we go. All right, so here's inside the photon slicer. Now, we don't have a model loaded just yet, but we can see that right now our layer thickness is set to 0.05. So that is our resolution. That equates really to the same resolution that you would get if you were doing an extra fine resolution on your FDM printer. You're not going to get that clean. It's going to take a long time to print. These print much faster. Normal exposure time is 10 seconds. The off time is 1. The bottom exposure time is 50 seconds. And our bottom layers, we have 8 bottom layers. Now, up at the top, we have a file menu, open a file, save a file, export, configuration, or import. We have an edit, configure, and about us. And a lot of that is down the side here as well. So let's open up a file. Let's see what it says to us when we open up a file. So there are several files here. Icon engines, all kinds of stuff. Oh, this is in the 64-bit slicer. Let's go back to the disk. And let's open up that file and find out what it is. So this looks like our bottom. Here we go. Now it's trying to do something, I think. LCD viewer. We hope it's doing something. It's not doing anything. Wow, does that ever throw me off? So it's not giving us our viewer. So we don't have a file to load. It didn't come with a file. That's actually quite interesting. Let's look inside here. Nothing there. I'm wondering if they've actually had some files on here or not.
I could throw a Hero Forge file in.
Image formats, platforms, supports, translations. So it doesn't really look like they've got much in the way here. We got image formats, so we're going to cancel that. We'll go on to Thingiverse and grab ourselves a file. We'll be right back. Okay, so we found some files, and we're just going to open up Cassandra. Why not? Let's just open up Cassandra. There we go. There's the model. Now, because there's no instructions on how to do anything, we can have a look at the model. So this will give us a front view, top view, bottom view, or reset. We can zoom in, zoom out. We can move the model. Let's go to moving this around so we can see how the model is going to print. It looks like it's got a fair amount of overhangs. So we should maybe get ready to slice this model. What do you guys think? Yeah, maybe we should. So we're going to hit the slice button, and we're going to put Cassandra back onto the removable disk, which will be our stick. We'll say save. It's now slicing Cassandra to that drive.
Sounds awful.
And it looks like it takes a little bit of time to do this. But before we go any further with this while it's slicing, we're going to find out how long it's going to take. We'll put it on the disk, and then we'll get ready and we'll do some work with this actual printer here. All right, so the estimated total print time is approximately 2 hours and 16 minutes. So we're going to say OK. And now we can remove that drive from our computer. And mass storage device, there we go. Safe to remove. So we're going to remove that because we're going to use it later. And let's go back to this camera. All right. So what do we got to do? Well, of course we have to plug it in. Yeah, might help if we plug things in. All right, so this plugs into the back there. We're going to move this over here. I want to see if I can get a close-up of this screen. All right, so we're going to have a look and see what this looks like when we fire it up for the first time. We've got a few things yet we have to do, and we're going to obviously read the manual for that. And, you know, it's always good that if I miss something on a video like this, that you guys who have bought this machine and have not put it together yet are able to. And, you know, that's why they have manuals. Plug that in there. Let's go around to the side and we'll just turn this on. And there we got the photon come up. And now we have our menu system. So on the front, we've got a little bit of a menu system here. We have, and you know what, I'm going to look at the book because it's easier than going around. So on our first menu, we should have print, system, and tools. And under the print menu, that'll be when we plug in the card, so we can print whatever's on the card. Then in the system, we're going to find language, service, info, and we can return. On our tools, we're going to find move the Z, UV detection, Z equals 0, and so on and so forth. So first thing what we have to do, so now that we've got that out of the way, it wants us to put some things together. So the first thing that we have to put together is the knob. We have to put on our knob, which, if we remember right, was in this little package right here. Wow, they don't want you getting into this package anytime soon. All right, so now we have the knob out, and we are looking for the M8 screw, which should be in that bag of screws that we had, which would be that one right there. Big hands. There we go. And we'll just bring that up, pop that screw through there so that we can see what it's doing. Just tighten that up. And I'll bet you one of these, and not that one. That one's too small. One of these is going to help us get this knob on. There we go. Yeah, they've got some tools in there. So we open it up. We've got the tray inside. We want to take that tray out. So we're just going to loosen up the two thumb screws that are inside. So what we're doing is just loosening up these two thumb screws that are inside. We want to bring this Z height up. So we have to go back to our menu system. And we need to go into here, I believe. And we want to go up. There we go. We're going up. This will allow us to get the reservoir out, because we're going to need to have the reservoir out when we go to, and there is the reservoir. That is actually, that's drum tight, that's what that is. So down below here, you can see that we've got, that's where the projector is for the printer. Now, this is a 2K projector, so it's pretty high quality in terms of the print volume. What we're going to do now is we're going to take this, loosen that off, and we're going to put this plate on the front. We'll get it set, tighten it up, and we're going to see if we can't get that straight. Now, what it tells you to do in the manual is, once you've loosened up this screw here, which is at the front of this plate, you've got this screw which holds it onto the Z-axis bracket, but you have, Z-axis bracket. Then you've got this screw at the front, which allows this plate to move. And you want to have that loosened up. So what we need now is to grab ourselves a piece of paper and level the bed before we do anything else. I'm just going to grab a piece of paper. So we are going to level this out again. You know, it always helps when you read the directions. All right. So we're getting very close now. We'll switch it to 0 0.01. And we'll just keep getting it till we know that it's, till it just grabs that paper. Okay, we're actually grabbed that paper really tight. There we go. Now we're good. Okay, so let's make sure that we tighten this up properly. Let's loosen it up first, just to make sure that everything's good. And now we'll just give it a little tighten. And they want you to give it another little tighten here. If you can get that in there. There we go. Okay, so that's tight. Then lastly, set the Z height as the position where the first layer will be started. Now, first we got to click Tools. So, yeah, and then we're going to hit the button that says Z equals 0 on the touchscreen. Okay, so that should be where we are. Now, we're going to do a function test of the UV. Gradually raise the platform up about 120 millimeters. Click Tools, then click Tools, Detection, and Next. So we're going to bring that up 120 millimeters. Okay, so now that it's stopped, we want to hit the Tools button, Detection, then hit Next. And the UV light is functioning. We can see it there. I don't know how well the camera is going to pick that up, but it is up. Okay. Yep. I don't know how well you guys can. There you go. You can see that now. All right. So that is done. Make sure the resin vat is nice and clean, and install the resin vat till it aligns with the 2 limit screws. All right, so all we're doing here now is we're just putting we put a little bit of alcohol on a piece of paper towel, and we're just going to give the vat a little cleaning. And once that is done, give the LCD a little clean. And now we will take the vat and we will put it back in the machine. So now we have that. So what does it say? Finally, then tighten the red and secure the vat. Okay, we've done that. Now, we've installed the software already. Okay, so we're just going to put in about, let's do this right. Let's put our gloves on. They want us to wear these sexy blue gloves. And I got monster hands, so putting on these gloves, I tend to rip through them. All right, so we got our gloves on. Safety first, after all. And shake well before use. Wear the gloves. Mask before use. Avoid direct skin contact. Okay, so let's shake it up. With this, you get basic green. So we're going to shake it up. Shake it, shake it, shake it up. All right, let's open it up. And I think we're just going to put in about a third. So we're just going to dump in about a third of that bottle. That should be enough. And now we'll close it up. We'll get our USB stick right there, and we will plug it in. All right, so let's print Cassandra. And you can see on the LCD screen, it gives you a little picture of what you're printing. Hit print. There we go. Well, hey, there's the look at the Anycubic Photon 3D printer, which is a DLP, a digital light processor, or photo, or DLP. Anyway, you know. So What did it print? How did it print? Well, here we are right here. I've got 3 little figures that I did because I wanted to see just exactly how well it did with its default settings. Now I have a figure over here as well, and I'm going to show this one first. This was the first figure I printed, and I didn't use a whole lot of supports. I basically just told it to use supports from the build plate. So let's just move that camera right now. So you can see here, this little one is missing an arm, missing 2 arms, an elbow and that sort of thing. But in all honesty, the detail is just amazing. So now I reprinted her, and she is looking like this now. This is all the support material that is on her. I could have got away with removing some of that support material probably. But again, I am still very new to DLP printing. The detail on this this is a 28 millimeter figure for Dungeons and Dragons. I was doing this for a friend, and to be perfectly honest, I think the detail came out pretty good. Now I did take the supports off one of the figures, so I'm going to show you that one right now. And you can see that, man, is that ever clean. Like, that looks great. You can see the detail in the face. There's still a little cleanup that has to be done, but the hair, the strands of the hair came out nice. The battle axe, her costume, even the buckles on the belt are there. So this was done at 0.05, so 50 microns. And I could have actually gone down to 10 microns if I really wanted to, but this green, this kind of reminds me of a Force Ghost. But these 3 figures, and here's another one. These 3 figures are for Dungeons and Dragons, I'm assuming. This one is done, again, not as many supports, but you can see some very fine detail on that. Like, those are amazing. I'm super happy with that. And this little bit on the bottom that you can see here, like this area right here, this is all going to come off, and it's going to be just thrown away. This is just support material again. And then you just snip off the rest of that support material and give it a little sanding and a little cleanup, and you're ready for primer and paint, and there you've got yourself a couple of miniatures. I'm assuming this guy must be some sort of rogue or thief. But there you have it. The Photon from Anycubic. What a great little printer. It comes with resin. It came with a little bit of resin, and we use that to do these figures. Again, some of the things that you want to watch when you're dealing with resin is wear gloves, wear a mask, because some resins do smell. Make sure that you clean all of your tools thoroughly with alcohol. Now, these 3 figures that we did, they did have to have a little post-processing. So once I took them off the build plate, I washed them in alcohol, gave them a little cleanup in alcohol, and then I just ran them under the tap to get rid of the rest of anything that might be on there. Just a little bit of warm water, nothing serious, no soap. And then I just put them aside to dry. Once they were all dry, I put them underneath the UV light to cure the resin. Now that resin is really, really strong. Let's use this one, and you can see that's pretty strong. So these aren't going anywhere. With that said, that machine is fantastic for the price, and I think I've got one myself. So now I can play with doing little minis, and I love doing this kind of stuff. So with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed the look at the Anycubic Photon. If you have any questions about it, you know where you can reach me. You can reach me at richard@thefirstlayer.com, and I'd be happy to answer any of your questions, or join us over on our Facebook group, which is The First Layer, or by all means, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and hit that notification bell, by the way, because if you do, you'll get notified every time that we go and do a live stream or we upload a brand new episode like this one today. Now, coming up, we've got some great stuff still happening. We're going to be taking a look next week at a brand new printer from Anycubic again, and this is going to be their Formax, which we have to build, so it's a really big kit, and that's probably going to take 2 episodes. That being said, listen, I loved having you guys here with me, and leave your comments down below about the Anycubic Photon. If it's something that you're interested in, we'll be happy to do more info on it, and maybe we'll get into painting some of these little guys at some time. You never know. If you'd like to support the show, by all means, feel free to buy me a coffee over at buymeacoffee.com and /the first layer. Or if you'd like to become one of our Patreons, you can do that over at patreon.com /the first layer. So until I see you again, remember, the first layer is always your foundation to a great print. Until next time, my friends.